And then I was reading the book of Mark. I saw something similar, and then I saw it again in Matthew. And then I was like, this can't be a coincidence. So this was what happened. Whenever Jesus was going to do a miracle,
let's say a deaf man, he would call him aside and he'll be like, and Jesus took him away from the crowd and healed him. He took him away from the people far to the gate and healed him. I was like, why does he keep doing that? Like, why does he separate them from the crowd? It can't be a coincidence that they keep mentioning that he took the person away from the crowd.
I got to see that it was what they call the messianic secret
Motive in the Gospel of Mark, in which Jesus is portrayed as commanding his followers to maintain silence about his messianic mission.
Google says
It is the idea that Jesus purposefully hid his identity as a Messiah during his lifetime.
why. Now let's see some scriptures in which this happened. In Mark chapter 5 verse 32 and 33, Jesus heals a deaf and a mute man.
There, some people brought him to a man who was deaf and could hardly talk, and they begged Jesus to place his hand on him. 33. After he took him aside,
Away from the crowd.
Jesus put his fingers into the man's ear, he spat and touched the man's tongue, and the healing took place.
Another one, Mark 8:22 and 23. This is where Jesus heals a blind man at Bethsaida.
They came to Bethsaida, and some people brought a blind man and begged Jesus to touch him. 23. He took the blind man by the hand
And led him outside the village.
This is not even a way. When he had spat on the man's eyes and put his hands on him, Jesus asked, do you see anything? And then the healing took place in the remaining scriptures. But you get what I'm saying.
I saw all this, reading down from the book of Mark, mostly in the book of Mark. Why could this be? And then I wanted to see like theological meanings, and there were a lot. One I saw was preventing crowds from hindering his ministry. Large crowds drawn only by miracles often made it harder for Jesus to teach and move freely and focus on his mission. That could have been the reason, but it wasn't solid enough for me. This stood out to me, the timing of revelation. He knew his identity as Messiah needed to be revealed gradually and in God's timing. And this also drew me back to when I was watching the series The Chosen. For those of you watching it, great. For those who are not watching it, it's a fantastic series. You need to check it out.
I'm literally with my pen and book when, like, as I watch the episodes, I'm learning every day and grabbing, scriptures and a lot of things. So it's just very good. I think his first miracle, if I'm not mistaken, was the wedding at Cana, where he turned water to wine. And when Mary had approached him and said, Jesus, we need your help, blah blah blah, and he was like, it's not my time. It was like something that if he had started in the public eye, he had to continue, and there was like a timing for his work.
When he got into the room after he told everyone to go out and then fill the jars with water, he prayed to God.
It was kind of like a prayer of like, let it start, let your work start in me, because he knew that once he started, there was no stopping till he got to the part of the crucifixion.
I'm like, Mommy, no, I don't want to do this now. I feel like
He did those miracles out of compassion. Even though it wasn't his time to start such, he had to do it out of compassion for these people. There were times also where he would do miracles and tell them, don't tell anyone who did this, and just go, maybe show yourself to the priest of the temple and just pray thanksgiving, just general, but don't. But then, people would still go and start telling everybody,
So I just feel that also makes sense. So when I saw the part of timing of revelation, it just really spoke to me, and I kind of like understood why. Another reason I feel he did this, just like referencing back to when I spoke about the crowd, Jesus also protected the purity of the message, in the sense that he ensured people were listening to his teaching rather than being after him for miracles. So he made sure he got the points given to the people. Generally, the messianic secret is less about Jesus being mysterious, more about him managing like revelations to align with God's time for his work on earth. It's kind of kept the focus of the teaching and avoided like premature confrontation with authorities until the cross was near. So yeah, I hope you learned something new today, because I definitely did. Always live in the fear of the Lord, and Jesus loves you. Mwah.